tuning into the source. Your source for celebrity news.
Hey yo, thanks for tuning into the source. Your source for celebrity news. Check this out. A lot of people have been wondering why certain people like Aubrey O'Day, Farnsworth Bentley, and Gene Deal haven't gotten up on their stand to testify against Diddy, leaving some people to speculate that something shady's going on. For example, some people believe that Farnsworth Bentley is in hiding, and other people believe that Aubrey O'Day might have got paid off. But I'm here to tell you, none of that's true. Aubrey O'Day didn't get paid off. Farnsworth Bentley's not in hiding. The only reason why they're not on that stand is because the RICO charges against Diddy only span 10 years. For example, Aubrey's major dealings with Diddy took place around 2004. Gene Deal was his bodyguard in the mid-90s to early 2000s, and Farnsworth Bentley worked for Diddy in the early 2000s. Therefore, none of their testimonies would be relevant to this particular RICO. Now, if the prosecutors wanted to, they could throw Aubrey, Gene, and Farnsworth up there as character witnesses, but at this point, it really wouldn't make a difference. And I know, somebody's gonna come in the comment section like, nah, Sauce, you wrong, because that don't make no sense. Dawn Richard testified, and Lorianne Gibson testifying. Yeah, but you have to remember that way after Danity Kane broke up, Dawn Richard continued to work with Diddy, and Lorianne Gibson has continuously worked with Diddy on different projects over the last 30 years. Therefore, what those two women would have to share on that stand is actually relevant to the case and the time frame that the prosecutors are looking at. See, you guys have to understand that in order to get the RICO against Diddy, the prosecutors have to convict him of two crimes that took place within a 10-year window. They can't find him guilty of doing something in 1997 and then find him guilty again of doing something in 2023. It doesn't work that way. Therefore, because Cassie is their central witness, not their only witness, but their central witness, they sort of molded the case around the years when she was in a relationship with Diddy. And for all of the people out there who keep running around talking about, yo, when is Wendy Williams taking a stand? Oh my goodness, are y'all serious right now? Honestly, I'm really starting to think that social media and the internet done scrambled a whole lot of your eggs. While Diddy did in fact use his power and his connections to get Wendy Williams removed from her position at Hot 97 back in 1998 when she was over there blowing up his spot in the 90s, and if this was back in the day, Wendy's testimony could have potentially contributed to a RICO. That was then and this is now, and the statute of limitations on that is a thing of the past. So, I'm gonna need all you people on social media who are out there like, yo, when is Wendy Williams testifying? To step into reality. But that's not what I want to discuss today. Today, I want to discuss a few things that go a little bit deeper. And I know, a whole lot of people out there are like, Sauce, come on, it's the weekend. I cannot go over another transcript. We're not. That's not what we're doing today. We're talking about some serious issues that this trial has brought up. Okay, so first, if you can do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button, I'd greatly appreciate it. And I already know, somebody's gonna come in the comment section like, Sauce, why you sound so laid back today? Listen, I'm just sitting over here with a cup of chamomile tea and I'm chilling. Alright, so let's get into this. As you know, Sean Diddy Combs is a name that's synonymous with hip-hop and empire building. He's built a whole lot of careers, and he's also helped to shape the culture. And according to these recent lawsuits and testimonies, he may have also destroyed a whole lot of lives behind closed doors. But this video isn't just about Diddy. It's about the systems of power, celebrity immunity, and the blurred lines between victimhood and complicity. See, Cassie Ventura signed with Diddy when she was 19, and then she got into a relationship with him shortly thereafter. Now, what used to look like a glamorous music partnership with all the jet set and private jets in a spotlight, we now know because of everything that came out was really masking something much darker.
You gotta say now? What you gotta say now? Yeah, what you gotta say now? What you gotta say now? You ain't got shit to say. What you gotta say now? What you gotta say now? You ain't got shit to say.
So here's the question. In situations where the power is imbalanced, similar to Cassie and Diddy, can consent ever be free? When your career depends on pleasing the person who signs your checks, can you really say no? Especially when you signed a contract, and if you break that contract, you would still owe the person millions and millions of dollars. In other words, was it ever possible for Cassie and Diddy to be in an equitable relationship as long as she was contractually signed a bad boy? And as long as she was bound to that contract, did she have the freedom to distance herself from Diddy? And as you're thinking about this question, I also want you to keep in mind how Diddy treated his other employees. Because even though Capricorn Clark was not in an intimate relationship with Diddy, he still kidnapped her and put her down in the middle of the street. Alright, so think about it. Fame, money, and opportunity. These things are often exchanged for silence, for obedience, and sometimes for access. But is that a deal, or is it manipulation? Now, in our society, we often view people as either victims or villains. But what happens when someone is both?
Okay, so I just want to say this. I honestly do feel like Cassie was a victim. Cassie was a victim because back in her day, in the early 2000s, like, we were not exposed to what really goes on behind closed doors. Like, dating a rich man and living in Hollywood was like super glamorized back then. Like, those girls back then had no idea what they were getting themselves into.
So a girl commented on my page, said that I'm ignorant for talking about Cassie. She said, why was Diddy trying to talk to Cassie? Mind you, Cassie was already in a relationship with a man 10 years her senior when she was 17. With this name tattoo. She ain't new to this, she's true to this. That's the first thing. Watch the case, sweetie. That's the first thing. I never said in the video, if y'all listen, you said I'm too ignorant to listen to the end. You responded before you even watched the full video. Because if you looked at the video, you would have seen that I said at the end, when she decided that she didn't want to do that no more, she should have been able to leave. Period. I never denied that. Never said nothing against that. I never said nothing against that. I didn't. I said when she was ready to go, she should have been able to go. But I said when she was in it, she was talking about in it. She was in it. She was having fun. She was initiating it. Look at the court files. Like what? I just said she not no victim.
Y'all, when I say I have literally been crying nonstop, this Diddy, Cassie, this whole trial, like, y'all, I don't even get involved with celebrities, their antics, all of that. But when I say, like, it got to a point this morning, I'm crying. I'm like, what the heck is wrong? So I said, you know what? I literally have to pray about this trial, y'all. Like, that's how much it, like, I have been constantly watching every video. Like, they literally released the ebook. I think it was like a couple days ago. I was this close to buying it. But y'all, I just want to say something. I 155% unpopular opinion, because I know the internet is super divided about this. I feel like Cassie is innocent.
Wait a minute. So Kid Cudi take the stand today, and I find out that Cassie is the motherfucker who gave up Kid Cudi address so Diddy could blow the nigga car up. And you want me to feel bad for this bitch? Like, I don't understand why I'm supposed to feel sympathy for a motherfucker who done lied profusely, got people, damn near got a nigga killed. And, like, how? This bitch is not no victim, nigga. If anything, she need to be a motherfucking co-defendant.
I've seen this comment 800 billion kajillion times on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, where the fuck they talking about this goddamn Diddy trial. Cassie is not on trial, number one, right? That's the most obvious. But number two, innocent of what? Innocent of what? Like, I'm watching people saying, like, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, like, she definitely, I'm saying, like, Diddy did he beat her the fuck up, but, like, she ain't all the way innocent either. What does that mean? They think because Cassie participated in these quote-unquote freak-offs that means that she's not innocent of being a victim of abuse by Diddy, which makes no sense, because she's telling y'all, hey, I willingly participated in a lot of these freak-offs mainly because I was drugged up, fucked up, and scared out of my mind, and it became my lifestyle. Which, by the way, means that she was being coerced and forced into these situations, which means she is still a victim.
Okay, so as you can see, one of the major questions on a lot of people's minds is, could Cassie, if she engaged in or facilitated questionable behavior while under pressure, still be a victim? What's the difference between being manipulated and being complicit? And when does complicity become survival? Meaning, if I'm in a DV relationship and I know that at any minute this person could turn around and jack me up, or even worse, unalive me, so I go along to get along so that I can make sure that I survive another day. And I do some things that might be illegal. Why? Because that is what they're making me do. Am I complicit? In other words, is coerced action still a choice? Meaning, if you tell me to go to the store and I'm like, no, I don't want to go to the store. And you're like, if you don't go to the store, I'm going to put out this X tape on you. So I go to the store. Did I go to that store by my own choice? Listen, let me know what you think down below. And please understand, I'm not giving you any answers. What I'm doing is asking questions because I'm really trying to get to the bottom of where we are collectively. Listen, like I said before, this P. Diddy trial is very interesting and it's intricate because it's not just exposing Diddy and Cassie, but it's also exposing how we feel as a society about issues related to abuse, DV, actual morality, consent, power imbalances, etc. Which brings me to another very important question, which has to do with the bystanders, the people who were there, the assistants, producers, bodyguards, security guards, colleagues, etc. What is the moral obligation of the people who saw signs but said nothing? When is silence an act of protection and when is it complicity? If someone you know is being harmed, but the person who's abusing them has some sort of authority or power over you, meaning they're like your boss and they cut your paycheck, what do you do? Or, better yet, what should you do? And actually, let me add another addendum to that question. Do you find it troubling that a whole bunch of grown behind men stood by and watched Diddy whip Cassie's behind? And they didn't do not one thing to help this little girl except turn a blind eye and maybe give her an ice pack. Why? Because Diddy was the person signing their paychecks. And just so we're clear, I'm specifically calling out the men, even though there were some women who also turned a blind eye. But I'm specifically calling out the men because in our society, we are taught that men are supposed to be the protectors. Now, did they stand idle because, like one of the witnesses said, Diddy's like a god among men? And just based on that crazy behind statement, it's very clear that the public has a strange relationship with fame. When it comes to celebrities who are accused of abuse, there's a split. Some fans rush to defend them and others call for their immediate cancellation. But legally, celebrities often face a different reality. They got more money, more lawyers, more time to rewrite the narrative. So, what does justice even mean in cases like this? A life sentence, a financial settlement, a public apology? And what happens if Diddy gets off scot-free? Meaning, as a hip-hop community and a larger society, if Diddy walks, how do we deal with Diddy going forward? I mean, for real, how do we deal with Diddy as a person, and also, how do we deal with Diddy's legacy? Can we separate the art from the person? Because unlike Bill Cosby and unlike R. Kelly, Diddy is intertwined in a lot of other people's careers. Meaning, when Surviving R. Kelly came out and people were finally finished with R. Kelly, you also saw the hashtag Mute R. Kelly. But it's not as simple to cut off P. Diddy because in order to cut off Diddy completely, you gotta cut off Mary, the Notorious B.I.G., Little Kim, you gotta cut off Faith. I mean, you gotta cut off so many other people and you wouldn't be able to listen to their music either. Because even though the prosecutors can't find Diddy's fingerprints on Kid Cudi's car, his fingerprints are all over the music industry. Now, here's an uncomfortable truth that this trial has also stirred up. Not all immoral behavior is illegal, and not all illegal behavior gets punished. So you have a lot of people running around saying, listen, Diddy might be a dirtbag, but he ain't break no laws. So that begs the question, when the law stops short, what do we do? Meaning, if someone exerts control, humiliation, and/or psychological manipulation on people, is it abuse even if no law is broken? Or do some of the loopholes that we seem to be finding ourselves in when it comes to this case tell us that we might need to go back to the drawing board and rewrite some laws? And that brings me to the last question that I really think that we need to ponder as the first week of this case comes to a close. Unlike the OJ case, the Diddy trial is really the first time that we've seen social media's influence and impact in the courtroom. For example, YouTubers and TikTokers and Instagram personas have flocked to that courthouse like moths to a flame.
During his testimony, Kid Cudi confirmed that he met Cassie in 2008 at a party. Okay? Kid Cudi dropped the mixtape in 2008 and got signed to Kanye West. Kanye West just recently came out and said that he's gay.
Right.
Kid Cudi met Cassie in 2008 when he was a nobody, struggling, trying to get put on. Kid Cudi testified that he had Diddy's number years prior to the 2011 incident in December. He had the number years prior. Upon information and belief, Kid Cudi met Cassie during a Diddy freak-off. And the reason Diddy is mad at Kid Cudi is because they decided to do freak-offs without him.
I'm a YouTuber.
You on the inside though, right? You want
I was on the inside. You got me on your camera, I got you on mine.
Is it live?
Yeah, it's live.
Go ahead. What that mean? What the hell? You got more people than me. You got more people than me. Look, somebody.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Crypto, for the $50 super chat. Yeah, you gave me the good luck. So, you was gonna ask me something?
I don't get that type of money. But
that's like, oh, you on YouTube? What's your channel?
Famer2.
Famer2?
Famer2.com. Famer2.com. We're here, ground zero. The Diddy trial. Check it out. She got me. The Diddy trial.
Yeah.
The Diddy trial. Life and trials of Sean Diddy Combs.
Gene, are you testifying today?
Not at all.
You aren't. So why are you here? Tell us, Mr. Gene. Because you were the original person that told us about Diddy for years and years and was never scared. And he never sued too. So tell us, why are you here then?
All right, watch our backs, y'all. Watch our backs.
It's nothing like you see for yourself. You know what I mean?
A shout out to a Libra King, see him for himself. All right, Gene, thank you so much. Are you going to be here for the rest of the week?
I'll be here for the rest of the week.
All right, Gene, listen, I need an exclusive interview. For the title tells. Gene, I need an exclusive interview. All right, Gene, I'll talk to you later. Thank you, Gene.
Sean in HD, I am here, ground zero. The rain just stopped. I'm putting in this work. It could rain, it could snow, it could sleet, it could be a thunderstorm. I will be here like Iron Man if I have to transform and manifest into that. Just to give you guys breaking news on this Diddy trial.
So, essentially, as you can see, social media has become everyone's digital courtroom, helping to record and transcribe the narratives of the case day by day, which ultimately shapes public opinion in both non-biased and sometimes very biased ways. But the question is, and this is certainly not directed to any of the YouTubers that I just showed, but the question is, as independent creators report on high-profile criminal trials from inside the courtroom, such as the Diddy case, how can they balance the public's right to information with the ethical responsibility to present facts accurately and avoid sensationalism? Because I gotta tell you, and this does not apply to anybody that I just showed, but I gotta tell you, some of these social media influencers are amped up, and they're standing in front of that courthouse online like this is 1997, and they're standing on the line at Jamrock, and Diddy is getting ready to get up on that stage. As a matter of fact, let me give a shout out to all of the YouTubers that I just showed. You got Donut, Nika Knight, Tisa Tells, and Sean in HD. And they're all doing a great job sharing their particular perspectives on a Diddy story. Anyhow, like I said, I don't have all of the answers, but maybe together we can ask the right questions. Can you be both a victim and a perpetrator at the same time? Does silence make you complicit? What does justice look like for the powerful and for the powerless? And do bystanders, especially men, have a responsibility to step in when they see something happening to a woman? Or is it okay for men to say, nah, I wasn't getting involved in that. That ninja signed my paychecks. Listen, let me know what you think about everything that we discussed in today's video, and while you're down there leaving a comment, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share this video with your friends. Hey yo, thanks for tuning in to The Source, your source for celebrity news. Peace.